What's up, guys, girls, and track coaches? We're not actually going to be in GD today. This is just a formality. So this is the Geometry Dash wiki page for update 2.2, which logs pretty much everything that we know about it, and everything that we've heard about it, everything that Rob has ever said about it. You can actually see that there's so much 2.2 stuff that there's preview tabs ordered by, like, year. You'll notice that, like, the page for, like, 2.0 kinda has it grouped by year, but they're not, like, specific tabs. But there's so much stuff that we find out each year about 2.2 that it has to be grouped up by year. So what I want to do is go through every single preview that we have for 2.2. Everything with a picture or a video, basically. And I want to rank it based on completely arbitrary criteria, really. I don't know, just like how cool is it? How revolutionary is it? How much content is actually shown in it? You know, how detailed is it? It's stuff like that. I'll explain my reasoning as we go. Basically, what I'm going to do is just read through the previews, and every time I see something that mentions, like, an image, then I'll look at that image. So, like, 2016 June, this is just him talking about something, it's not an image. So, March 8th, 2017 is when we were greeted with this image, the first look at the Swingcopter game mode, which I think is pretty cool. So this one, I mean, it was right after 2.1, so we didn't have to wait very long for it, and it was our first look at what would be the new game mode. Now, none of these rankings are going to have to do with wait time, okay? None of them are going to be like, oh, well, you know, it came after 5 years or whatever. It's just going to be, you know, it's all based on the image. And this image, I think, is pretty par for the course. It's nothing crazy. We didn't really know how it was going to work yet fully, but we had, like, a decent idea. We could gather this. So I would give the Swingcopter preview a solid B tier. Because I mean, a video is obviously better than a picture, but this is not a bad start. So the next preview we were given was in November of 2017. I think this was after 2.11 came out, and it was the random trigger video. So I think this video is, I mean, obviously it's a video, it's better than a picture, and I think it very clearly demonstrates, you know, the feature. However, this seems like a pretty simple feature, but it does have the added advantage that this is something that, you know, I think people have wanted for a while, and I think it's good to finally have something that is 100% random. It's not like pseudo-random, it's nothing like, oh, if you recreate the exact amount of clicks or whatever, then it'll be the same. It's completely random integer, that kind of thing. So I think that this is pretty good. I am going to give the random trigger video a solid A tier. Very good, very good. Some of these rankings will probably have to be revised, because I feel like I'm going to end up with, like, a lot of things in, like, maybe, like, A or B tier, and not as much in the lower tiers, which things should be in the lower tier if they aren't that crazy. Before we move on to the next teaser, I just wanted to take this chill moment to ask you guys that if you enjoyed the video so far, to hit subscribe, baby, because we absolutely smashed 100K, and now we are setting our sights on 200K. Let's go. Sorry, I'm feeling really chill and zen tonight, so I didn't feel like blowing your eardrums out today. Take it as an early Christmas present from me. Anyways, back to the teasers. Our next video came like a week later, where we got a look at camera controls, and camera controls are really crazy, very revolutionary, and I'm really excited for camera controls. Camera controls are honestly, other than platform mode, one of the best features I think we're going to be able to get. And this same video also introduced free flying mode, which I think is crazy. I mean, I feel like there's infinite potential for this. I mean, creators in 2.1 were already doing this with, like, just spamming portals everywhere. And honestly, I think this video is the one that's gonna make me sort of revise my rankings. So, because here's what I want to do. I want to give camera controls in free fly mode an A. But it's definitely not the same A as random trigger. So I'm actually gonna move Swingcopter down to C tier, and I'm gonna move random trigger down to B tier. And then we're gonna have camera controls in free fly mode in A tier. Then we had a video in December of 2017 which showcased the ability to go in reverse, which was pretty cool. And again, I think that reversing is, again, one of the main features other than camera controls and platformer mode, I guess. Like, there's like a couple of really big things, but I think that going in reverse is one of the biggest gameplay elements. However, this does only show one feature, okay? So, I'm gonna put it in the high B tier for now. I don't know what people usually do tier lists where, like, the lower ranked things are further to the right and the higher ranked things are further to the left. So I guess that would put reversing in the far left and random trigger next to it. So I think that's fair. So everything for the rest of December is about Sub-Zero. I'm not really gonna rank the Sub-Zero previews on here because they're not directly for 2.2. Sub-Zero does have 2.2 features, obviously, obviously, like press start, going in reverse, and, you know, Knock'em has camera controls and all that. They're not strictly 2.2, so I'm not going to count any of those. So then we get to our next picture, which is this. It's the song hint for 2.2. We obviously now know today that this is Explorers, and I'm pretty sure that people back then figured it out pretty quickly. For those of you who don't know, this is, I think, the Swedish flag on a bucket, because the Swedish word for bucket is hink, and then I know, the shorthand for I know is IK, so hink plus IK gives you hinkik. And then this, I never really was fully sure how to interpret this. It's obviously Internet Explorer, but it has like the internet thing minus the two parts of the E. So it's like Internet minus Explorer, which makes me feel like the song would be called Internet, not Explorers, but it's basically that. You separate the Explorers from the internet, and then you have Explorers. You have Hinkik, Explorers. This is really funny in retrospect, knowing that we're not even getting Explorers in 2.2. So this is a very funny song hint in retrospect. But this is the song hint, and that's it. Song hints, I honestly think, aren't that revolutionary. They're not really a game mechanic. It's just telling us what the song is gonna be. I'm gonna give this one, for now, a D tier. It's not, it's like, I mean, it's not a whole lot there, you know, it tells you what the song is going to be and not much else. Now again, by no means is this a bad teaser, it's just not crazy. I actually never even noticed that the description for this is the second teaser hinting at a now postponed level. So our next showcase is a video in the form of the Time Warp Trigger. Now, Time Warp Trigger, I don't know how I feel about this one, right? Because it's definitely a cool feature, but I don't know how revolutionary of a feature this really is. Because it lets you slow down time, it lets you warp time, you know? But I don't think it's like a super crazy feature. I don't really know how much use it's going to really get in the update, but it is a video, so it has that going for it, and because of that, I'm going to put it in the high D tier. I'm going to put it in the D tier with the song hint, but I'm going to put it above the song hint. So, the next preview came in October of 2018, showing platformer mode. The reason that 2.2 has taken like 5 years. I don't know if you guys know this, but this came from a video of a fan-made GD game that had an adventure mode, and RobTop was like, I can do better than that, Lenny face. And he showed off this. This is the first look we had at platformer mode. Now, this is huge, okay? Like, okay, here's the thing. Putting aside all the parts about how this is, like, probably, like, the sole reason 2.2 didn't come out in, like, 2019, this is a crazy feature. This is a huge feature. It's a new game type. We've never even had that before. You know, new game modes, that's all fine and good. This is a new game type, in RobTop's own words. We've never had this before. So, this is obviously incredibly big, and it's, I mean, I don't really know what more to say. It's a huge feature. It's like, dare I say, this is like half of 2.2. And I honestly am going to put this one, I'm going to put this one in the high A tier. I'm going to put this one in A tier with camera controls and free fly, but I'm putting it above camera controls and free fly. Because here's the thing, right? Crazy good feature. Crazy video, crazy preview. But the only reason I'm putting it in A tier, not S tier, is because I know what's coming later. And that was it for 2018. Our next preview came in early 2019, where it was this. It was basically just a short video showing off a bunch of particles. I think this was meant to show off the particle system in general. It doesn't really show us any GUI. We don't see how we spawn these particles, but that's a lot of particles. I also have never been able to tell if this video takes place in like a platformer mode level version of Finger Dash, or if it's just like an image, because like, nothing in the background of this is moving. Like, the dragon isn't moving, the saw isn't moving, you know, the orb isn't pulsing, there's nothing. I can't tell if this is, like, a platform mode version of Finger Dash, or if it's just, like, a picture. I think that it'll probably get more use than the Time Warp Trigger, but I'm gonna put it in low C tier. I just don't think it's like that insane. It's also a very short video, and it's basically like a looping like 1 second GIF. So not super crazy, but it is still cool. So our next preview was an image that Rob Top tweeted out. He tweeted out these images of the new gauntlets that we can expect in 2.2. And honestly, I think these gauntlets look sick. I don't know how many of them are going to be contests, but a lot of them look really cool. And honestly, I'm really hoping they have good levels, because I would love it if the gauntlets weren't awful. Now, at the end of the day, this is just a picture. And it is a picture of an expansion of a feature that we already do have in 2.1. Now, don't get me wrong. It is better than nothing. But I don't think this is a crazy sneak peek. We already know about gauntlets. We already know how gauntlets are going to work. He's just adding more of them. It's basically like a less important version of the song hint or something. Because like the song hint tells us what the next level song is going to be. These tell us what new gauntlets will look like, which is cool, but it's not really anything that groundbreaking. And again, this is not saying that these features are bad, but compared to the rest, they're not that crazy. I'm gonna put this one in F tier for now. I don't know if worse ones are gonna come along, but I'm gonna put it in F tier for now. Don't get mad. It's not a bad image. It's just not crazy. So the next video that the wiki lists is this video, but this is example 8, and there is one example before it. I don't know where it's mentioned, but we're gonna do this one first because it came out first. So this video is, it's alright, I guess. I guess it shows new animations for the robot. I don't actually know if these are like unlockable or what. I don't really remember, but they're cool and they're silly. Now again, personally, I feel like this feature is not that groundbreaking. It's not that much cooler than like a new icon. And I feel like people are gonna pretty soon after the update comes out, kind of not really find them all that crazy. I'm gonna put this one in low D tier for now. Now this video, example 8, I believe this one just shows new spider animation. So when the spider's going real fast, he tilts forward and he's charging up at you. Now again, very cool, but this is just a minor cosmetic addition. Again, I think it's cool, but in the same vein as the robot animations, I feel like people are pretty quickly gonna kind of forget about this. And this one seems to only be affected at a certain speed, so I'm gonna put this one in D tier as well, under the robot one. So then there's a couple of editor previews, which I think I missed. This one shows how the particle editor actually works. And obviously, I don't know what any of this means, but it is very cool. So I'm gonna put the thing showing how the particles actually work in low B tier. Next editor preview shows the skewing and scaling that you can do, which I think is very, very cool. Oh, and it shows off the, what is this, the scale trigger? I personally think that scaling and stuff like that is much more accessible to the player and much more common, I think. I think that scaling stuff is gonna be super common in 2.2 with the trigger. I feel like it's just much more accessible and easier to understand than stuff like, you know, the particle editor. So I'm gonna put this one in B tier between the random trigger showcase and the particle editor. Third editor preview, this shows the advanced random trigger. Again, this is one of those really technical things that I think will be very, very cool. I also know for a fact that this is much more complicated now than it was in this video, but we didn't know that yet. So, I mean, this looked fair enough, I guess. This GUI wasn't terrible. I think I'm gonna put this one, I'll put this one in between the scale trigger showcase and the particle editor showcase. So our next preview came in 2019. These are showing the new pixel blocks that we can use in 2.2. These are actual blocks. It's not like custom pixel art or anything. And I think this is pretty cool. I mean, this is the stuff that I'm probably gonna have to learn how to use in 2.2 because I want to try and get a rated level. And I think these are very good for a baseline. I think that they look pretty good on their own. They're not too generic or boring. So I don't think there will be a problem with, in early 2.2 at least, getting levels rated using only these, because that's my hope. I'm hoping that in 2.2, just the default blocks, with not a whole lot of extra tweaking, will be enough to get a rated level. And I think these are pretty cool. Now, with that said, it is just an image. So what I'm gonna put this one in the high C tier. So I'm gonna put it between the game mode hint and the particle editor. So next up, RobTop posted 4 images of the map, which are cool. I mean, I still don't really know fully what the map is. I've heard people say they think it's gonna be kind of like Gauntlets, but for platformer mode. I don't really know. The art looks cool, but other than that, it's not really that crazy special. Honestly, I think that the weakest part about this is the fact that they are completely separate images. I think that maybe one big image of the map could have been a bit better, but since RobTop used separate images, I'm gonna give them all individually F tier. And again, this doesn't mean that I think that they're bad teasers. I just think compared to everything else, they're pretty small. Like, literally pretty small. These images are like 100 pixels. So then we get to this, the auto build system. I don't even know what to say about this, dude. This is crazy. Like, if you're not aware, it basically means that if you fill up a template with a certain design that you like, you can build any structure and it'll automatically build that design for you in that structure. Which is nuts, dude. Like, this will save so much time for people when the update comes out. This is a feature that I think tons and tons of people are gonna use when 2.2 comes out. And I'm gonna give this one an A tier, because honestly, I mean, at least in its current form here, it doesn't really even look that hard to learn. It looks relatively intuitive. Assuming that the template you have to fill out will be like easily pasteable. So then we have this video that RobTop showed showing like various effects on the menu screen that have to do with music. I don't want to like clog up the tier list too much, so I'm just gonna lump these all into one thing. They are very cool, but in their current state where we only see them on the main menu, they're not really that crazy, so I'm just gonna put it in low D tier. So then we have art, concept art of the new ratings that would be in 2.2. Now, I've heard people say that RobTop confirmed that these weren't going to be the final ones for Godlike, where they weren't going to be crazy, and I think that is so dumb, dude, because these look so cool! It would be so cool to have crazy versions of all the icons for the best rating in the game. Instead of just changing the fire color, changing the icon is such a cool idea, and it irritates me if he isn't going to do this. Because I would love to see what the godlike insane face looks like. Can you imagine? And for that reason, I'm gonna put these ones in low C tier just because of how cool it is. And I'm gonna put this version, because of how uncool it is, in low F tier. Okay, maybe it's a little bit unfair to put these above, like, the song hint and stuff, because it's just new difficulty, so I'll put it in low D tier. But this one is still going in F tier. I cannot believe if this is the case. There's a lot of individual icons. I'm not even gonna bother with those, because I didn't realize that there were so many. So then we have this image that he posted, which is I think this is our first look at the new icon layout, which is very cool, very cool. And it's a pretty neat feature. I'll put it in low C tier. Then we have this image, which is pretty neat. It shows off that we will be able to enter hex codes in 2.2, which is cool. Not super crazy, because people have already been doing this in 2.1. I'm gonna put it in D tier. No, I'll put it in low C tier, because I guess it is cool that we're actually getting it officially. I guess it's not fair to compare it to that people have already done fan-made stuff, because, I mean, people have technically already made platform mode as, like, mods and stuff. So this is pretty cool, I guess. Then we have a showcase of a sepia filter. I think filters are going to be abused in 2.2, but I guess it's still pretty cool. Not crazy, though. I'm going to put it in low D tier. I'll put it in low D tier, but I'm going to put it between the spider animation and the pulsing menu stuff. Then we have more art of the map here, which is cool. I mean, it's a much bigger picture, which is nice. We can definitely see greater area, and I think that it looks very, very cool. I am going to put it in low C tier. Then we see some art for the versus mode button, which is neat. Versus mode, very cool. I think that versus mode is going to be a very, very cool addition. However, this is just a button. This is not any showcase of versus mode. It is the button for it. It doesn't actually show anything off for versus mode, so this one is going in F tier. Alright, so we're gonna stop with the images for now. I'm sure you guys have been absolutely thirsting for it, so it's time to adjust the sneak peek in the room and look at, well, the first Geometry Dash 2.2 sneak peek. Now, we all know today this showcases Dash, the new level Dash. And now the only new level Dash. And it's an overload of senses. I don't even know what to say, dude. This level looks so good. features a custom song by MDK. We haven't even seen this level up to this point in time yet. This is a sick preview, and after Rob Top dies, we see, you know, a bit of the platformer level. I mean, he instantly dies, but it is such a cool sneak peek. Sneak peek 1, absolutely insane. The S tier is going to be almost exclusively reserved for sneak peeks, just because of, you'd think nothing can compare to them. Back to all the pictures of stuff. Now, this is pretty neat. This is an image of the new color palette for 2.2, which is very, very cool. Now, it is just a UI change. It's not really anything all that crazy. I'm gonna put it in, I'll put it in low B tier, just because of how much players will be interfacing with it. Again, I don't think it's insane. It's not a crazy insane feature, but it is still very cool, and players will have to use this pretty often, I think. So then we get to this fella, the mechanic. I don't really know what his deal is. We, up to this point, didn't really know what he was gonna do. We now know that he seems to just have more icons. At this point in time, it was pretty cool, and, you know, new shopkeeper. But there were already 3 by this point, so shopkeepers weren't really like that crazy. I'm gonna put this one in, I'll put this one in low C tier. I'll put it, up in between the hex codes and the map image. Then we had a look at the new shards. New shards are something. I don't think they're that crazy. Because here's the thing, right? Unless there's new ways to get them, which we don't know of yet, shards really aren't that awesome. Like, shards are honestly kind of annoying to get, in my opinion. But I guess it's something. I'm gonna put this one in high F tier. Then we have a look at this new gravity portal, the green portal, which just flips your gravity to the opposite of what it already was. Now, I think this is a very, very cool feature. This is a feature that I think players are going to be using all the time, and I think it opens up a lot of potential for, like, secret coins and stuff. I'm gonna put this one in, like, the mid-range B tier. And that's the thing, too. This is another, like, pretty core gameplay mechanic. It's not just, like, a new icon or a new image or something like that. This is a new portal, a new core portal that people are going to be using a lot. Then we have a look at this, which is basically our first look at portals that have, you know, designs on them to tell you what they do, which I think is very, very cool. We now know that all of these portals will have things. I'm gonna lump all of these together into just one thing showing the new colorblind portals, and I'm gonna put these in high C tier because it is very cool, don't get me wrong, but it's just a modification to portals which aren't changing, so I'm gonna put it up there. And also I'm lumping in the orbs as well with it, because, you know, it's just colorblind friendly stuff in general. So then we have a look at the moons, the moons that are going to be given out in a platformer mode, which I think is very cool. I think these are going to be a very, you know, a very core feature. I mean, it's basically stars all over again. Based solely on the image, I think it's cool, right? I'm not going to get into how I think that stars and whatever are kind of annoying to collect. I'm gonna put it in low B tier. And I think this is our last main image. And this one's very recent as well. This one is, well, it's Rob Top unintentionally showing off like every trigger in 2.2. Everything has its own custom design. It's basically, this is basically just the triggers. It's basically just Rob Top showing off every trigger in 2.2. This is just all the triggers. Quite frankly, I don't know how I could give this anything other than low S tier. I mean, this is like the entire editor. Like, this is like most of the editor in one image, so I mean, of course it's gonna be pretty good. And now all that's left is to go through. We have the 2 sneak peeks, the trailer, and 2 more editor previews. So let's just dive into the meat and potatoes. We got the next sneak peek up, which showcases Explorers. Now, based solely on features, this shows off a lot of new features. Teleport orb, spider orb, the force block there, the new F block that switches your gravity when you hit your head on a platform. It shows the rotating camera, rotating gameplay, walking on walls, the arrow trigger. It's just, there's a lot of stuff here. For something of this magnitude, I don't know how I could give it anything other than an S tier. But compared to Dash, I'm not sure. Honestly, I feel like this one is gonna go above Dash in the S tier, because they're both incredibly important things, but I feel like the Explorers one arguably shows off more features. Then we have Sneak Peek 3. I don't even know what to say about this. This is basically our first real look at platformer mode. Is there anything that even can be said about this? I mean, like spawn loops, platformer checkpoints, collectible coins, sound effects. I mean, this animated cutscene, I see you. We see the sound library. Like, I'm running out of breath talking about it. Just like the previous one, this one is now going in the top S tier, bumping down everything else at a peg. And that is all of our sneak peeks. Now we have, we've got 2 more editor previews. Oh, sorry, I was wrong, actually. This we only have 1 more editor preview because this is just auto-build again. The next editor preview that we have is this one, which shows off the... Stop scrolling! We have this one, which shows off the new keyframe system, which is super cool. I think this is going to be huge for 2.2. The move trigger is officially dead, I think. I mean... I don't even know what to say, dude. This is gonna be absolutely revolutionary for animating things, breathing life into, especially platformer levels. I presume you can spawn loop these. It's gonna be crazy. This one's gonna go in S tier, below dash and above him leaking every trigger. And finally, the last real editor feature, the last real thing, is of course the 2.2 trailer. I don't even know what to say about this. I made a whole video going over everything that it shows. 700 new icons, we see a bunch of them here. New part of the platformer level, apparently. We get a refresher on, you know, dash and stuff. New platformer levels, we see some of the stuff for the newest time. We see another new cutscene here. There's just so much, dude. We see more in-depth stuff with the song trigger, more in-depth stuff for various triggers, rotating gameplay. It's just... there's so much for it. If you want to hear a fully in-depth review, watch this video. I made a video on this, like, last month when this came out. I went over everything in it. This is insane. There's so much stuff coming, and I really don't know where else I'd put this other than the top of the top in S tier. This is the best preview. This is, I mean, this is like, I've watched this video like 5 times whenever I just need to renew my hype. That this is coming soon. We will have this in a matter of days, maybe. And honestly, I feel like this is a fair list. I mean, everything is pretty even. I mean, the only thing that there is the A tier is a little low, but I mean, for the most part, this is pretty good, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's how I would rank every 2.2 preview feature that we've gotten. I'll leave a link to my thing in the description, my image and tier list. And yeah, I mean, thank you guys very much for watching. Next video will be more in line with what you're used to seeing. Hopefully 2.2 comes out in less than 5 years. Let me know if you guys disagree with anything specifically in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this. Especially thanks to all the channel members, including Village, Gato, PenG Plays 149, Zan Lol, I guess, and Suru. Thank you guys very much for all the support. It means the world to me, and 2.2 is closer than ever, so you guys will be getting some content soon, some member content soon. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in 2.2, or the next video, because that's probably what's going to come out first.